The fundamental question that you address is whether or not nanotechnology, nanomaterials will have a positive effect on the environment. And I think what I could try to show you in the book there is that although there are risks at the risk ahead, there are also substantial benefits. Well, what are nanomaterials then? What are the special characteristics and properties of nanomaterials? If you look at this slide, what you can see is as you begin to subdivide, you take this start off with a 1 centimeter cube material. You start to subdivide it, and eventually you end up with 1 nanometer size cubes. And the total surface area that is something like 60 million square centimeters, so 6,000 square meters. 6,000 square meters is roughly the size of a football field. This is actually Germany versus England. 2007, and I had to say regretfully England lost 2-1. Well, why is water important? Water is important because it's essential for life. And if you contrast then the Earth with Mars, what you see is that the Earth is covered with water, 2% of the planet is water, and it supports a vast variety of animal and plant life. Mars has only a small amount of water cold, polar regions, and it's without life, as far as we know. However, unfortunately, all our human activities, we've an awful lot of this on a very small planet, unfortunately, all our activities, so even farming, even biological farming, industry, sewage treatment, and so on and so forth, that pollutes the water table. Things leach into the subsurface, they leach into the subsurface water, groundwater, and that becomes polluted. And that groundwater is a source of our drinking water. So what do we do about it? Well, one of the things that we propose that we're going to use very, very small iron nanoparticles. So these are essentially an iron core, which is surrounded by iron oxide shell. They're about 100 nanometers across. And those particles are highly reactive and can break down chemicals, things like polyethylene, hydrocarbons, breaking down to harmless products. And these nanoparticles then are pumped into the ground. The water, the subsurface water, flows through the nanoparticles and comes out purified on the other side. The major risk with this, iron is a natural constituent of the soil, so the only real risk of this process is that you're actually going to change the soil chemistry, which has serious consequences in terms of plant growth. As I said, the highly reactive, this is a very brave volunteer who's just opened a can of these nanomodules, and you can see them burning. They burn like phosphorus or sodium towards the atmosphere. So normally kept in the water slurry. We don't explosion act in this way. How successful it is, you can see by this figure here. This is a former industrial site which is being cleaned up. They pump then the little yellow dots, the wells that the pumping nanoparticles in. Actually, over a period of time, 9 months in this case, there's a vast reduction in both the scale and the intensity of pollution. And this is kind of an ongoing process. You could spend maybe 10 or 20 years just pumping the nanoparticles in to get consumed, and then the groundwater and the subsurface soil is Another very interesting application of nanoparticles is what is catalytic drinking water treatment. And simply this is using very small particles of titanium dioxide, which break down organic pollutants, and they break them down into harmless carbon dioxide from water. And this occurs when you shine either ultraviolet radiation from an artificial source, or even just sunlight. So it's a completely ecological process. You're just using sunlight to purify the water. You're not using any energy. You can see here on the right-hand side, you can see what happens when you treat. This is a glass which has been coated by titanium dioxide. There's a bacterial culture in that, and after a couple of hours, most of the bacteria die off. That's what the system looks like. looks essentially like fluorescent light tubes, but they're actually tubes to coated with titanium oxide nanoparticles. The water flows through there, it comes out purified on the other side. So what we're interested in is trying to make this process more efficient, because it's not such an efficient process, because the absorbed light isn't very efficient converted into catalytic reaction. Now it turns out that one particular surface, the crystal has facets, like a diamond. It has different facets, different orientations. And unfortunately, the facet which is used to put catalytic reactions called O1 is a very small percentage of the total surface area, just about 4 or 5%. So what you're trying to do, if you look on the left there, that's the typical crystal shape, that's the naturally occurring crystal shape. Looks like two pyramids stuck on top of each other, top chopped off. And the little square surface on the top of that pyramid is the business end of the material, is the reacting surface. So what you're trying to do is to modify that surface chemically. You can't pick up these crystals and grind them, as you do with diamonds, because they're so small. They're only typically 10, 20 nanometers in diameter. So what you're trying to do is chemically modify during the growth of the crystal and come out with this sort of flat crystal here, which is much more efficient. This sort of 90% reactive surface. So it's not just a question of making things very small, it's a question of being able to nano-engineering, to really play with them, and at the nanoscale to modify also the shape as well as the size. Another way of increasing efficiency in this type of reaction is to deposit gold on the surface. Gold is acting to catalyze the reaction, to speed the reaction up. Kind of interesting that what happens is that as you increase the size of the gold particle on the surface of titanium dioxide, you find that around 10 atoms across, so part of the size of about 3 nanometers, is the most efficient size for the gold nanoparticle to increase the reaction efficiency. It's kind of interesting too that the gold is such small size, such small quantity of gold. Gold is a metal, it's a conductor. But when you're using size like that, it becomes a semiconductor. So what it's doing is injecting electrons into the underlying oxide, and it's acting rather like a transistor. It's amplifying the reaction. So looking at something which is a little more down to earth, a little more common, filtration membranes. And these have been around for a very long time. Recent progress in this area has allowed us to control the pore size down to 1 to 10 nanometer range, so we can filter out all sorts of different compounds, and the applications there are typically for removing pesticides, chemical pollutants, and heavy metals. The risk with this comes not from the fact you've got the nanosized pores. The pores themselves are just a space. The risk comes because these membranes get contaminated, of course, with these dangerous chemicals, and you have to be very careful and dispose them. So the risk is associated with the macroscopic membrane and not with the nanotechnology. So how could we do this better? How could we do this in a more controlled way? Well, one of the suggestions is carbon nanotubes is probably better. Embed them in a membrane in a very controlled fashion. And because these carbon nanotubes are made of graphite, as you probably know, graphite is a very low coefficient of friction, so the water just spikes with these very rapidly. So the filtration process needs less pressure, and it is also much faster. However, the danger with this is that carbon nanotubes are considered to be highly toxic, potentially very toxic. They look rather like asbestos fibers. So you probably would not be happy about using this long term in your house for a filtration system on campus. The sort of application here is for military aerospace applications, NASA for interesting systems for space application, but the people were not using it for long periods of time. However, could we do this in a better way, which is involve carbon nanotube? Well, what we can do is we can take these natural proteins, which are lipoporins, and embed them instead of an organic membrane. And they're very efficient at filtering water because that's just the way kidneys work. These kidneys filter these proteins which are filtering water very efficiently. And the reason they're so efficient is that they only allow water through. So they're completely 100% selective. They only allow water. They don't allow any of the particles, any of the molecules through. And if it's going to work, I have to do this, I need to do this on the screen. What you're going to do now, this is a single aquaporin protein here, the white thing. These little things here, the red and white balls, water molecules. And what you're going to do is watch the other one here. I've just coloured one yellow, so you've got to follow the other one because it's going to go through there very, very rapidly. Yes, it worked. Good. So just follow the other ball. Now it's going. It's just randomly interacting with all the other water molecules, and slowly it's going through. Well, I say slowly because this has been slowed down by a factor of 10 million times. It's actually a much faster process. It's going. It's moving very slowly. Go on. Okay. And these little things here that are dangling, these are other molecules that can't get through because they're too big. So finally it gets there. I said that's a very, very slow motion. Okay. So, that's about all. However, as I've said, the risk can be mitigated, the risk can be in some way balanced against the benefit, but we've always got to be ready for in any new technology, unforeseen risks. Thank you.